Hi everybody, I am ME and I am the FU Fibro Lady. This is my fourth installment, and what we're going to talk about today is getting diagnosed. So I went for 2 decades, yes, 20 years, with just mysterious aches and pains. And every doctor I went to blew me off because I looked okay. I went to the orthopedics because I had so much pain in my hips, but because I was flexible, he blew me off. I went to a neurologist for nerve pain. I did have carpal tunnel, but aside from that, he's like, okay. Went to a nutritionist who actually told me I ate better than she did. So now what? So in the year 2000, my PCP sent me to a rheumatologist. Dr. Tammy was hands down one of my favorite doctors I ever met. We met at 7:30 in the morning and she said, all right, Emmy, what are you doing here? And I said, well, my doctor thinks I'm crazy. I feel like I have the flu a lot. I'm in a lot of pain. And he thinks I'm a hypochondriac, or it's all psychosomatic, like in my brain. But I knew it was real. I'm not a whiny person. So she said, well, if it is fibromyalgia, the only test that we have to measure whether you have it or not is called a tender point test. So what that means is I'm going to touch you and 18 parts of your body. And if 11 are tender, then you have fibromyalgia. And pardon what I'm about to say, but it's what I really said at the time. I said, well, that's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. And she said, I agree. It is the stupidest fucking thing you've ever heard, but it's all we've got. I said, okay. So I took off my cowboy boots. She touches the inside of my foot somewhere, and I was like, whoa, that was like a zinger. When she touched the inside of my knee, I actually kicked her, and then I kind of started to cry because I felt like an idiot. So she goes around my whole body, and I was like, wow, I'm glad I don't touch myself like that because this is really uncomfortable. She sat down when she was done and crossed her legs and shook her head, and she goes, I don't believe it. You were 18 from 18. So I've got good news and I've got bad news. The good news is you're not crazy. You have this new, bizarre, mysterious ailment called fibromyalgia. The bad news is I can't help you. I have over 10,000 arthritis patients. There is nothing they can do for people with fibro, but it was really nice to meet you. And if you ever get arthritis, you can come back. So I shook her hand, said thank you, went and sat in my car and sobbed. Okay, not crazy, but I need to continue to live the rest of my life in chronic pain. So in the year 2000, the only person that could diagnose you with fibro was a rheumatologist. But today, you can just go to your family practitioner and have them diagnose you. One of the things to remember is they could do that tender point test. They're going to ask you a bunch of questions, but you should always insist on blood work and imaging to rule out other things like lupus or rheumatoid arthritis. When my blood work and all my imaging was clear, then we were all aware that, yes, I really have fibromyalgia and I don't have a secondary condition. So that is how I was diagnosed. That's probably how you'll get diagnosed. And I'd love some feedback. So don't forget, I am ME, your FU Fibro Lady. Have the best day.